Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is Rick Bork. If you haven't seen my channel before, well, I don't even know why not. So, as you can see here, we got a little bit of a problem. This is a 2004 F-150. We did the timing chain work on, cam phasers, oil pump, all that. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. So what we got to do now is, now that we verified that we can get that motor to run good, we got to do a little reconstructive surgery. As you can see, he's got some frame rot. So we are going to, we got a sheet of steel laying over there that I'll show you. And we're going to see if we can fix the frame now. It's going to be a lot of work. That is our 4x8 sheet of 1/8 inch plate steel that we are going to use to reconstruct and box in the frame. Let's give you a look on the inside here. As you can see, that frame is pretty shot. It's also shot on the driver's side as well. We're going to do part of that, but I don't have time to pull the fuel tank down today and get everything back in. So we're going to do the outside and we'll do the bottom. Once we do the outside and the bottom on there, we can do both sides here. And then I'm going to have to pull the fuel tank down to plate the inside of that frame. I'll have to do that another day. I just don't have time to do all that in one day. And I'm probably going to have to get fuel tank straps for it because they're not in good shape either. So we'll let's get to cutting some plate and see if we can get this thing fixed up before it breaks in half. One of my concerns here, folks, is going to be this area right here. We're going to have to pay particular attention to this because this is where our leaf spring bracket is welded on, and this rod continues up behind the bracket right here, and you can see the crack moving along the frame. So we're going to have to make sure we plate this well back to where this seam is, and we're also probably going to gusset this a little bit just to add some strength there to make up for what the frame has lost itself. So those are things we're going to have to take care of. Alright, so I know, these are just, they're just, I'll tell you what. Alright, so we got the first plate cut for this frame, and it's just a short piece that goes in here because the gussets that come down from this cab mount, if I use one continuous piece, it'd only leave about 1/2 inch or so on the bottom side right here. And it would just make it flimsy anyway. So for convenience and ease of installation, I can break this up into a couple of pieces, probably 4 pieces here. And it's not going to affect the plating any because I can weld that little seam right there. And it also gives me the opportunity to weld to the frame where those plates come together. And it gives me a little bit more strength. So not being able to use one continuous piece isn't a huge deal in this situation. So let's get this first one tacked in, and then we'll fit the second one. We'll cut it out with the torch, and while that's cooling off, we'll come back and weld this one in the rest of the way. Alright folks, as you can see, we're plating along here. Next thing I gotta do is make a small plate to fill in. If you look close here, you can see the gusset I'm talking about comes down to right here. So that small gap would have made this plate kind of flimsy anyway. So we're gonna make this small plate. And then we got one more to make for that back part of the frame. We'll jump over and plate the inside. And then we're gonna plate the bottom as well. So as you can see here so far, we've rebuilt this frame. We've put 3 pieces in, a small one here and 2 larger ones on each side. We've cut it around the cross member in the frame. We've cut it so it fits around the body mount. That's why we put in 3 separate pieces, because we only had that little part there once again, so it didn't really pay to slit it. The next piece we got to put in, the last piece on the outside here, it's going to go from this end all the way up to this seam right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it out so it comes around this leaf spring bracket, and we're going to gusset it so it comes from to this corner, and we're going to bring it across over to here. The reason for that is because some of this frame rot goes up behind that leaf spring bracket, and I want to make sure that there's enough structure holding this on. So we're going to kind of add a little bit to this frame here, give it a little bit more strength, and hopefully get a little bit more longevity out of it. So let's get that piece cut out. That one's going to take a little bit. We'll get that one welded in and we'll start working on the inside. Alright, so this is the last piece that's going to go on the outside of the frame here. Finish patching up this rust. We're going to continue back almost a foot, and like I said before, we're going to gusset in back to this leaf spring bracket. So we got this piece cut out. As you can see, it was a little bit complicated getting everything traced out and fit around all the mounts and everything, and this one is where the frame starts to change. It starts to curve back, so we're going to have to tack it in at the front and then use a hammer as we heat it and weld it, drive it in, so that way it contours to the frame. So we're going to get this one welded in there, and then we'll jump over and do the inside and then put the bottom piece on. Now as you can see here folks, this has a little bit of spring to it now, because the frame starts to angle up and in to make up for the rear axle. So we have to manipulate this piece of steel a little bit. And we'll just tack it as we go. So we're going to keep pounding on that, getting that welded in there. It's going to take a little bit. We're still about 1/8 of an inch out on the top there as that frame starts to curl back. So we're going to pound that in there, get it welded in, and we'll come back and show you what we got done. Well, guess what? We ran out of frickin' argon. So we're done for today. We did get a good portion of the plating put in on the outside. We didn't get to the inside yet, but that's how it goes. If you look underneath here, you can see we got a good portion of it plated. We got to finish welding in this outside plate on the back, and then we can jump over and do the inside. The truck hasn't fallen in half yet, so we'll get some argon this week. Maybe one night this week we'll get back to it, or next weekend, something. But that's it for now, so I do appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.